Well folks, this is my third video on this situation, and a quick little spoiler, it's probably not going to be the last, because today we are talking about Logan Paul and his severe and very continuous lapse in judgment. Honestly, when he said that famous phrase in his apology for the Japan incident, I didn't realise how continuous it was going to be, but 5 years, I mean, it's gotta be some form of record. Now luckily for us, Logan Paul hasn't posted a third video just defending himself and using some of the worst points you can possibly imagine. In fact, he's actually apologised, and on top of that, dropped the lawsuit with CoffeeZilla, which we're going to be taking a look at, but on top of that, we're also going to be taking a look at one of Logan Paul's ex-employees, which Logan Paul actually tried to expose in his video with CoffeeZilla, has responded and has claimed that Logan Paul has lied even further than we originally thought in his response to CoffeeZilla. But before we get any further, if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. You would make my day. So let's talk about how we know about the apology from Logan Paul to CoffeeZilla. And it's from a CoffeeZilla tweet. So the original says, response video to Logan Paul drops today. Now that was 2 days ago. Obviously he was going to be making a video probably debunking a lot of what Logan Paul said, and I'm not sure if Logan Paul planned to apologise or if he got scared with the fact that CoffeeZilla was going to drop this video, but then we got a tweet from CoffeeZilla saying, Logan called me. He said he's deleting the 2 responses and is dropping the lawsuit threats. I believe he's making a 3rd response, which I'll be delaying my video to include. Hopefully this time he takes accountability and refunds the victims of CryptoZoo. That's what matters. And then on top of that, CoffeeZilla tweeted out a screenshot of Logan Paul talking in his CryptoZoo Discord saying, hey all, just wanted to update you. I deleted my initial response to Coffee's series. It was rash and misaligned with the true issues at hand, so I called him today and apologised. The war is not with Coffee. In fact, I'm grateful he brought this to light. I will be taking accountability, apologising and coming forward with a plan in the near future. Thank you all for believing in this project and sticking with me. I know it's been bumpy, but your support is everything to me and I will make this right. Now obviously this is going to have a lot of mixed reactions. On one hand, you'll have people saying it's good that it seems like he's going to be taking accountability and apologising and trying to make things right. And on the other hand, people are saying that they don't believe him and he's just doing this because he saw the response to his original response. And either way, whichever one's true, the main thing is here that it does get made right and the victims do get their money back. Hopefully that is going to be the outcome of this. Obviously Logan Paul hasn't actually posted the video yet as I'm recording this, but I'm sure when he does, we will do enough of a reaction to it. The thing I do worry about is if Logan Paul's response is him saying that he is gonna relaunch CryptoZoo and make it better than ever. And the reason I worry about that is because the vast majority of Logan Paul's crypto projects haven't really been successful. So if this one isn't successful again and people don't make their money back, what happens then? Especially right now with crypto being in quite a shit position, I feel like it would be a lot easier for Logan Paul if he did just refund everybody. I mean, he's a multi-millionaire. He spends $6 million on a Pokemon card for fuck's sake. He can definitely afford to refund everybody, and then realistically, the situation's over. Because I think after the Japan incident and Logan Paul had his like redemption arc and all that stuff, he kind of came across as if he thought he was invincible, and whenever he would do something wrong, which would happen pretty often, people would talk about it, make videos about it, but Logan would just never address it and he would ignore it and everyone would forget. But the fact that he's folded like this, I feel like CoffeeZilla has a lot more power now, you know? He's like a Jedi of YouTube and I'm scared of him and I've never even bought a crypto coin in my life. But like I mentioned earlier, someone who did work for Logan Paul during the creation of CryptoZoo has released a few different statements talking about how Logan Paul has defamed and slandered his name in his response to CoffeeZilla. Now the person we're talking about is Zach Kelling, who was also known as Z in CoffeeZilla series. So if you remember in Logan Paul's video, which is now deleted, he showed these criminal records of Zach Kelling and said that he'd been arrested on multiple occasions. Now one thing I didn't notice while I was reacting to the video, because obviously I was doing a bit of a live reaction, I just didn't see it, was that these criminal records are from 2002, so over 20 years ago now. I think when I watched the video originally, I just assumed it happened in the last few years. I didn't realise that it happened over 20 years ago. That's a long time, right? But it gets even more interesting when you watch Some Ordinary Gamer's video, because he was speaking about how he went to search for these criminal records to see them for himself, and he couldn't find them anywhere on the internet. And when he contacted Zach to see why he couldn't find any of these records, it was because the records were expunged, which I believe is a very hard process to actually get done, to be able to get your records expunged, meaning they're nowhere on the internet, so much so that some ordinary gamer couldn't find it after searching for God knows how long. And here's the messages from Zach here saying, "My record is expunged. I can confirm Logan lied in his latest video about multiple things. Something I did as a teenager 20 plus years ago, not super relevant in this context." Now the reason why this is interesting is for many reasons. First of all, you kind of just dock Zach Kelling off records that aren't even public knowledge anymore. And secondly, he also tried going at CoffeeZilla saying he hadn't done his research to find out these records about Zach Kelling. But the reason for that is because they were expunged. They're not on the internet anymore. And then even on top of that, with the fact that this happened 20 years ago, you would think that Logan Paul, out of everybody, would think that people can be forgiven over time, right? I mean, does Japan ring a bell? And then obviously, on top of all that, it doesn't really... Logan. Just called me dog Logan. He's getting to me, guys. Fuck. But also there's the obvious take of all of this, where it's stupid I even brought this up in the first place, because it just makes him look worse for hiring a criminal. But the conversation with Zach actually carried on, and he said, "It's reckless defamation. He doesn't even know what he's saying. Robbed a liquor store. I didn't rob a liquor store. Stole code. No, you refuse to pay anything after leading on a team of 30 plus people. 3 people, lol. You can't even Google Zach Kelling and mugshot and find anything. I've had it removed everywhere. 20 plus year ago, teenager mistakes not relevant for 20 plus years." So there's a few things to break down here, okay? He is saying that Logan Paul lied about the fact that he robbed a liquor store. Now, obviously, there's no real way for us to figure out if that's true or not, because the records have been expunged, so it is just kind of word of mouth. The 30 plus people thing is something that Logan Paul brought up to try and do like a bit of a slam dunk, you know? Saying that this guy lied about how many employees he had, and he showed pictures in his video showing that there was only like 2 or 3 people in the room and whatnot. But Zach is saying that when he scrolled down Zach's Facebook to find them images, he definitely cherry-picked, because there's other images on his Facebook showing that he did have more employees on Discord. So even though he might not have 30 plus employees in an office, he said that he did have 30 plus employees remotely, which, yet again, is a bit of word of mouth. And then the biggest point out of these messages, I feel like, is that he's saying, no, you refuse to pay anything after leading on the team of 30 plus people. Now, this is something that Logan Paul still hasn't really addressed. It was brought up a lot in CoffeeZilla series, because Zach was saying that the reason why he's holding the code ransom for $1 million is because he wasn't paid $1 million that he was owed from Logan Paul. So he was saying that he didn't get paid for his work, so he stopped working with Logan Paul and kept the code. Which I feel like, if that is true, that's fair, right? But Logan Paul hasn't addressed this at all. He keeps saying that Zach has held the code ransom and fled to Switzerland and whatever else, but he hasn't actually referenced the fact that Zach is saying that he wasn't paid for his work. But moving away from some ordinary gamer's video, I did actually go over to Zach Kelling's Facebook just to see if he said anything about this situation, and he has. He's released a very big statement, so let's have a look through it. Update: Logan Paul has finally removed the defamatory video. Thank you for all your support. Dear friends and colleagues, as some of you may have seen, I have been personally attacked by blogger Logan Paul on his YouTube channel. As I care deeply about the well-being, reputations and continued success of all my colleagues, partners, investors and associated work, I am writing to address the core of his claims here. Firstly, I made mistakes 20 years ago, which I deeply regret, and yes, these give me a criminal record. I have since been granted an expungement and have worked very hard to move forward in my life and career. I believe that everyone has the right to lead a dignified life, and I have worked very hard to build a decent life for myself, my family and everyone around me. I speak openly with friends, colleagues and investors about my history, who have and continue to express support for me and my work. Secondly, I'm an investor in an original CTO of CryptoZoo. The devs are still owed over $1 million USD by CryptoZoo and 5% tokens. I'm happy to share the GitHub which shows it was indeed a heroic effort by over 30 folks. In fact, Logan used my good name and reputation in the crypto community to raise money for this project. I worked really hard on CryptoZoo, and we all wish for it to be successful. We quit the project because Logan didn't pay us for our services rendered. In closing, I would like to sincerely thank everyone for the outpouring of support that I have received in the past few days in light of these attacks. My legal counsel will be following up with Logan and the CryptoZoo team to address their claims directly. All my best, Zach. Now I tell you what, it will be a very interesting twist in this story if after Logan Paul directly threatening CoffeeZilla with lawsuit action over and over again in multiple videos, that he then becomes the person who gets sued by Zach Kelling. I mean, that would be A good old twist. But yet again, in this statement, he's obviously saying that he was owed $1 million, hence why he stopped working with Logan Paul, which I feel like is something that needs to be directly addressed, because it's a massive part of this. Like, did Logan Paul get fucked over? Which, even if he did, it still doesn't really make him right in the situation because there's a lot more to it. But did he get fucked over in the sense that this guy just fled to Switzerland and held the code for ransom for absolutely no reason? Or is it because Logan Paul refused to pay the people who work for him? Like, we need to know. There's also another post on Facebook from Zach saying, "Didn't take long for Logan fans to start stalking me and threatening my life. Please direct all the threatening messages to the comments here so we can keep them all organised and everyone can enjoy the vitriol. Thanks, Z." Now, in conclusion, Logan Paul has basically doxed Zach Kelling of his records that were expunged and taken away from the internet. He may have also lied about Zach Kelling in why he was arrested. He may have also lied about the amount of employees that Zach Kelling had, and he also may have not paid him for his work, hence why CryptoZoo ultimately failed. Which, by the way, if Logan Paul didn't pay people for their work, and that's the reason why Zach Kelling left working with Logan Paul and took the code for ransom, it's completely Logan Paul's fault for people getting scammed. Like it already was, because it's Logan Paul's project, but then you get the Logan fans saying, well, he didn't directly make money out of this. But if the reason for it failing is because he didn't pay his employees, it's completely his fault, and you can't even argue against it. But yeah, like I said, the apology video might even be out by the time I upload this. It might not be, but I'm sure when it is, we will cover it. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully he will refund a lot of the people involved, and yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. But if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like down below, subscribe if you are new, and if you want to let me know topics to talk about in future videos, the best way to do that is on my Instagram. It's @MARKIE, and it's always linked in the description. And until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, good, bye.